Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
I'm Mary Lou.
And in studio with us we have Brennan. Brennan, if somebody needed to contact us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Our email is dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net. And on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. As a matter of fact, I think you did that the best out of anybody that has done that in 21 years, because as you were doing that, you were looking at this one, and they guided you to the other one, and you never even stopped. You just kind of kept on going, right? Did you notice they were like, because I know, because that's the one we opened up to, right? So you were looking at that one, and that takes, nice job, dude. Good.
Very nicely
So,
done.
Brennan, where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Highgate Elementary and I am 5th grade.
All right. So Highgate is a relatively new school, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where did you go before that?
I went to Hart Element.
Okay. So is there anything that was at Hart that you would like to have at Highgate?
They had a bigger playground.
They had a bigger playground. All right. So that's always important. You want a bigger playground, right? All right. So other than a bigger playground, is there anything else you would like to see improved at Highgate, or are you pretty happy with it?
I'm pretty happy with
Pretty
it.
happy with it? How's 5th grade going?
Good.
Yeah? What's so good about it?
It's just,
Just overall good year?
yeah.
Well, it's better than having a bad year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of math are you working on in 5th grade right now?
Adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators.
And how do you feel about that?
Pretty good.
You feel pretty good about that?
Yeah.
So have you done any multiplying of fractions yet?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe we'll touch on that a little bit, but we'll do a little adding and subtracting of those later on, all right? All right. Before we get to any of that, a little reminder that if you phone in today and tomorrow, December 13th and 14th, the final 2 days of this year, that you can call in and win yourself a pass to Holiday Lights at Calm. So we have the information up on the screen. All you have to do is give us a call and you'll be able to go out, and there you have some footage of Holiday Lights at Calm. Millions and millions of lights, and our colonel, our train conductor, Steve Sanders, is heavily involved in that. You might even see him out there as he helps check you in at Holiday Lights at Calm. But a great tradition, and it is only a new one that has begun to start the drive-through tradition. And we were able to do that a little while ago, and it's always a lot of fun. So have you ever been to Holiday Lights at Calm?
I just went like a few weeks ago.
You did? Awesome. So did you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, it's pretty cool. Well, you know what? You can tell your friends or whatever, hey, call Do the Math tomorrow, because you won't be able to see them today, right? Tell your friends, call tomorrow on Wednesday, and if they call, they can win a pass to give to their family, and their family can go to Holiday Lights for Calm for free. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a bad deal. All right. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Before we get Brennan getting to work, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right. So Math in the News has to do with the holiday season. And do you have a Christmas tree up at your house?
I have a few.
Okay, so you have a few. Are they up now?
Yes.
Okay. Do I dare ask when they went up?
Oh, not till December 1st. I'm
Okay,
not one
so
of those
it didn't
who
go
does
up
it
on
early.
Thanksgiving night.
No, no.
It didn't go up at Halloween.
No.
You waited, and then December 1st it
December
goes up.
1st, yes.
And what do you have, like 7 trees?
Yeah, about 5.
I'm only kind of joking, like 7 trees. You only have about 5, right? All right. And are they all artificial? Is there a mix?
No, they are all artificial
They're
this
all
year.
artificial. Have you?
I used
I
to.
know you used to have live
Yeah.
trees because growing up, that's all we had.
Yes. But just recently have I switched over to the artificial.
Okay. So Brennan, what about you? Have you had? Do you have a Christmas tree at your house?
Yeah.
Have you had it up for a while now?
A few weeks, yeah.
A few weeks. Okay. Is yours artificial or live?
Artificial.
Artificial. All right. So we've had artificial trees the last couple of years. Occasionally we have a live one thrown in there also. How tall do you think the tree is in your house?
I think like 8 feet.
Like 8 feet. That's a pretty tall tree. All right. So I've got some information I found out about how long it takes to grow a Christmas tree. So a 5-foot tree, which is what a lot of people have, is like a 5-foot tree, takes about 5 years. So if a 5-foot tree takes 5 years, how much growth do you think happens every year?
Probably around 1 foot.
Probably around 1 foot. That would be the logical thing, right?
Yeah.
But we found out that for a tree to go from seed to sapling and reach 1 foot, so here's where it starts, right? Here's the ground and it gets to 1 foot, okay? That takes 4 years. So if it can get to 1 foot in 4 years, that next year it can grow 4 years, or 4 feet. That's pretty rapid growth, right? Okay. So here's a tree that a lot of people are familiar with, the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. So we can see it being transported. They usually get this from upstate New York a little bit. They go around, I don't know how long they give the people, but I'm sure they go around quite a bit of time, and they want to find the perfect tree for Rockefeller Center, which is a big attraction in New York City. And then here we can see this is the actual tree for this year, lit up. You've got Prometheus down there in the front by the ice skating rink. There are 50,000 lights on this tree and a 3 million crystal star.
Wow.
So there are 3 million crystals that comprise that star that is on the top. All right?
I wonder
Now,
how long those lights take.
to light that up,
Uh-huh.
that takes a while. I mean, you should see the scaffolding that goes around that thing, and that's a lot of people working a lot of hours. And I
Yeah.
think that actually, it's a 24-hour process. I mean, there's no break time with a group of people. They've people constantly going in and working on that. So I figured let's take a little bit more about Christmas trees. So we can see here we've just got some growing in the wild. Might be a tree farm that they're working at. Here's some that are a little bit decorated, and some have the flocking on it. Right? Do you know what that is? The flocking, where
Yeah.
they put the fake
It's like
snow?
fake snow
Yeah.
on it.
Do you guys do that, or do you just? you
Ours
don't have
has a tiny bit on
a
it.
tiny bit on it. All right, and then here's one, looks as though it's decorated out in the wild with the flocking and stuff like that. So let's get to some of the math. So a balsam fir tends to grow slowly, about 12 inches every year. So this is a balsam fir right here. Okay, does your tree look like that?
Not really.
Not really. Does it look like this one, a Leyland cypress?
It's more thinner.
It's a little thinner. Yeah, most of the artificial ones are a little thinner. These are full trees here. But anyway, we can see the difference. 1 foot a year, and this grows 2 feet per year. So you're going to get these turning over a lot quicker if you're doing a Leyland cypress. And you can see it looks kind of like a shrub almost, right? Instead of, because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to see pine needles, right? But you don't necessarily have pine needles to say on the cypress. It's a little bit of a different type of tree. So anyway, there's a little bit of the math, and we talked a little bit about how it can only grow a foot, right, in 4 years, but then it can shoot up and grow dramatically after that. And while I was on Christmas trees, I figured I'd take a look at some different types of decorating here. So I thought these were pretty original, right? So I know we have a person that works at Do the Math, is a big fan of monkeys and apes and gorillas. So we had to put that one on there, like King Kong. Cookie Monster with the colored artificial trees, right? This one I thought was pretty clever, right?
That's
You've got a
very
bunch of
clever.
decorations up on the wall, they're just kind of falling out. And then this one in a store. So a clever way to advertise the clothing that they're selling by putting it on the mannequin, kind of dressed
Yeah.
up like a tree.
I've seen upside down trees too.
Right, and there were that, and I'm like, hey, some people have seen that, and a lot of times they do those if they have really big trees and a lot of space to do, like lobbies at hotels and things like that. But anyway, that is today's Math in the News. Some Christmas trees and how fast they grow. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 most Tuesdays and Wednesdays. In studio, we have Brennan, a 5th grade student from Highgate Elementary. And are you ready to get to work?
Yeah.
All right, over to the board, young man. Let's take a look at what you're going to be working on. So this is actually one of the papers that you brought in, and it says, what is the sum? So first of all, before we start, can you tell me what sum means in math?
Adding.
Right, so we're going to add. So we want to know the total when you add different numbers. So we have 9 over 8.
Go ahead and write that for us, 9 over 8.
There you go. Just don't let your hand or arm touch it, and then it'll everything be good. Plus 12 over 16. So if you could, just explain to Mary Lou how you want to solve this problem.
First, we have to change the denominators to make them alike.
Okay.
So-
And how would you do that?
Well, you would make multiples of 8 and 16 and see when they match.
Okay.
So like 8 plus another 8 is 16.
Okay, so I'm going to do the multiples over here. So when you're saying 8 plus 8 is the same as 8 groups of 2,
Yeah.
okay, so that's 16. And then your multiples of 16, are we already there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because one group of 16 is 16,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So we would multiply 90 times 2 over 2, and that would get us 18, 16. So now that we have the same denominators, we're going to add it up. And that would get us, you'd first add the denominators, because you never
Okay,
change
so we're not
this.
adding the denominators, but we're keeping it the same.
Same.
Okay.
And then you would add the numerators, and that would get you
So we know that 8 and 2 is 10, right?
Yeah.
But we already have 2 here, but we need that 1, right? Mm-hmm. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is?
20. Oh, 2.
Well, there's 2 plus
you
1
just
more
called it
is
30.
30. So let's change that to a 30. Make that a 3 for me. There you go. So what are you doing now? This is correct, right? 30 over 16 is correct. Does your teacher require you to go any further with this? Because this is what's called an improper fraction. Do you just leave it like this, or do you need to change it to a mixed number?
Right now we don't have to, but we can
Okay.
if we want to.
And do you know how to change that to a mixed number?
Uh-huh.
Okay, how do we do that?
So you would take 16 out of 30,
Okay.
and then you would see if you can do it again.
Right, and so 2 groups of 16 would equal 30, what?
33?
32, right?
32.
It would be 32, so it's not going to be 2, it's going to be just
1.
1, because 32 is larger than 30,
Yeah.
right? So we only have 1 whole.
And then you would keep the 16, and then whatever you have left over, you would put there.
Okay, so what's our difference? And there we go. Okay, so we have 14 left over, right?
Yes.
Because we have 16 to 26 is 10, plus another 4 is 14. So yes, this is correct. This is also correct, but can we even simplify this down even more to another equivalent fraction?
I believe so.
We can, because 14 and 16 are both what's called even numbers, right? So what can I divide them both by to break it down even more? What's a common number with 14 and 16? Do you know? What do you have this? What's this number here?
2?
Does 2 go into 14?
Yes.
Does 2 go into 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, so divide those both by 2 for me, okay?
Okay.
What do we get? I'm going to leave the 1 there. What do we get? What's 14 divided by 2?
7. and then 8.
And 8. So we actually have 3 answers that are all correct.
Mm-hmm.
We have our 30 over 16, right?
Which is our improper fraction.
Exactly. And then we have our mixed number of
Mixed number.
1 over 14, 16. And then we even simplified it further to,
1, 7, 8.
yeah, and they're all 3 correct.
There you go.
Nice
Nicely
job.
done on that first one. All right, go ahead and erase the board.
Okay.
And you two
Hit it.
stay there because
That
on
one
social
right
media
there.
we have a new thing that we started up last week, and it's called our problem of the day. So let's go ahead and put up the problem of the day. We had a lot of people answering this question, and not everybody has the correct answer, let's say. So Mary Lou, I'm going to have you work through the problem of the day right now. And Brendan will be there to kind of help you because in 5th grade he's going to need to start knowing how to do percents. So we want to know 80% of 26.
Okay, so we have 80% of 26. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do what we call clothesline math. And on 1, we're going to do our percentages, okay?
Okay.
And you know about 100%, right?
Yeah.
You get tests and you get percentages on it, right? So percent is per, ooh, that kind of jumped there, is per 100, okay?
Okay.
Our 100% is 26.
26.
That's 100%, right? If
Okay.
you have 26 questions on a test and you get all 26 questions correct, oh, what happened?
Well, hold on a second now.
You're
We're gonna
making my
go
work
back.
disappear. There we
There
go.
we go.
We have, you get 26 out of 26, correct?
Yeah.
That's our 100%. So we're going to put that 26 there.
Okay.
And obviously, if you get nothing, you have 0, right?
Yeah.
Which is 0%. We don't want that. Can I ask you, what is 50% of that? What's half of 26?
13.
Very good. So 13 is
50%.
50%, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what half of 13 is? What's half of 12?
6. So
Is
it'd be
6?
6.5.
6.5. Okay. So 6.5 is actually
25%.
25%. How do you think we could find 75%? We're getting pretty close with 75%, huh? To our 80%.
Okay.
If we know that 6.5 is 25%, what can we do to these two numbers to find out what this number is?
Add them.
Add them. Very good. What's 13 plus 6.5? Well, what's 13 plus 6?
13 plus 6 is 19.
19.
So 19.5.
19.5. Okay, so we know that, right?
Yeah.
How far away are we?
5%.
We're 5% away. Okay. So, what if I asked you, what is 10%, right? Let's jump to 10%. If that's 26, what do you think 10%? So, if I have $10, 1% would be $1, right? 1% is $1. Or 10%, sorry, 10% is $1, right? So what do you think 10% of 26 would be?
1.
Well, not 1, but it's
2?
actually 2.5,
5.
not 2.5, but 2.6,
6.
okay? That's 10%. We also know that 10% is, well, 5% is half of 10%, right?
Uh-huh.
What can I do to this number to find 5%? Can we cut it in?
Half.
Half. What's half of 2.6?
1.3.
1.3. So to find our 80%, what do we need to add to 19.5?
1.3.
Okay, add that together for me. What do you get? So what's 80% of 26?
20.8.
20.8. Look how you thought about that, how we thought about that. We took the knowledge that we knew. We started with, well, what's half of it, right? And then we found a quarter of it. But if we know what 10% is, And then we took half of that 10% and we could figure out that 75% and add it on. Okay? So this is just one way to look at it. There's so many different ways to find a percent, but this is just one way to find it.
I was going to say that's
There you
one
go.
way, and it's a visual way
Yes.
so you can break it down step by step. But also another way you could do is you want 80%. So we could take 10% as
Yes.
2.6, so go 2.6 times 8,
Yes.
and then you get the same answer. Or to go even quicker, you know how to
Go.
use a calculator, right?
Yeah, yeah. You
Right?
could.
You can take 80%, right, 0.8 times 26, and you're going to get 20.8.
So you could take your 0.8 and we could multiply that by 26 and we would get the same answer as well. Okay? But when you don't have a calculator, thinking it out. Lots of ways. There
Nicely
you go.
done. All right, clear the board.
All right.
That was today's problem of the day, and congratulations to those of you that did get that correct on our social media. We'll have different ones of those every day, so take a look at those. Especially on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you want to check those out, and then we'll be able to work those out during the program of that day. All right, here's another homework problem that Brendan is working on. This one, it already
Great.
gives you a mixed number.
Write it.
So we have 3 over 2 plus the whole number 3 and 3/10. So once again, they want to know the sum.
Okay.
All right, walk me through this.
So first I would change this into a mixed number.
Okay?
You could get one group of 2 out of 3. So now it'd be 1 and 1.5. And then plus, I would have to change this first though. So I'd change that and multiply that by 5
Okay.
because 5 times 2 would get you to 10.
And then do we also have to multiply the 1?
1 times 5 is 5. So that's our new number.
Okay.
And then we go over here, write 10, 3, and 3. First, I would add the fractions first and then add these later. And then I would add these two and get 4.
Okay. 4 and 8/10. Okay, what's another equivalent? Can we simplify that?
Yes.
Okay.
So you could simplify it.
And what number did you divide those both by to get 4
2.
fifths? 2. Okay, and there you go. So we have 4 and 8/10, or we have 4 and 4/5.
Nicely done.
Okay.
Even a little quicker on that one,
Yes.
right? Once you get the hang of it, they gotta start going a little quick. Well, Brendan, for your great work so far this afternoon, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Chick-fil-A, so congratulations on that. If you go to Chick-fil-A and you remember, just ask for Troy and see if Troy is there, because Troy owns the Chick-fil-A. He loves to do the math and loves to give you guys free meals. So if you happen to think of it, ask for Troy, let him know you were on the show, and tell him how you did, all right? All right. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Call today. We do your problem. You get a free pass to Holiday Lights at Com. We'll be back with more right after this.
Understanding the effects of microgravity on the human body is essential to enabling astronauts to travel through the harsh environment of space for months or even years. Significant changes to the body's skeletal and muscle systems have been studied for decades, and strategies to maintain physical fitness are being applied through various countermeasures, including vigorous exercise aboard the International Space Station. But scientists and researchers still have a lot to learn, including how time spent in space affects the eyes and brain. Even during a trip as short as 2 weeks, vision changes occur for about a third of American astronauts. When the trip is longer, say 4 to 6 months, that figure may double. But before potential solutions can be proposed, scientists first have to understand what's causing these changes. On Earth, gravity forces a body's natural blood volume downward, below the waist. Our heart forces it back up to the areas above the waist, including our eyes. But what happens to that volume of blood and other fluids when gravity is no longer pulling them down? The human body has an amazing ability to adapt. Sensors in the upper body note when too much fluid is being received, so the body will decrease its overall blood volume in microgravity. However, this response doesn't always completely counter these fluid shifts. This can sometimes be seen in pictures or videos of astronauts aboard the space station. If their faces look puffy, it can indicate there's too much fluid in their head. Does this fluid also accumulate in or around the eyes? Vision researchers are working to better understand whether the chronic fluids shift toward the head during spaceflight are causing the shape of the eye to change, or if fluid is accumulating at the back of the eye. An imaging technique called optical coherence tomography uses a special camera to take pictures of the back of the eye and helps scientists to better understand the effects of increased fluid accumulation found in the tissue there. Dr. Stephen Laurie is the lead scientist for spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome research. He says, "We have known since astronauts flew short-duration space shuttle missions that vision changes during spaceflight occur faster than would be expected during the same time period on Earth. However, once we started seeing swelling at the back of the eye surrounding the optic nerve, this became more concerning, because it has the potential to lead to long-term changes in vision that cannot be fixed with new prescription lenses." Another challenge for scientists is that astronauts may not conform to a one-size-fits-all treatment approach. While all astronauts experience chronic weightlessness, about 70% show the earliest signs of fluid accumulating at the back of the eye, and only 15% show more concerning signs of this. When they return to Earth's gravity, these changes can take up to a year to resolve, with some changes to the eye never fully returning to how they were before spaceflight. Both men and women have been affected in either or both eyes. Dr. Laurie concludes, researchers and medical doctors closely monitor astronauts during and after spaceflight to determine if any permanent vision changes will emerge, while also continuing with research to learn more about the underlying causes of these changes. For more information about how astronauts maintain their health on board the space station, go to www.nasa.gov/ISS-science. To discover more about the space on, around, and beyond our planet, visit science.nasa.gov.
And occasionally we are honored to have folks from the Bakersfield Museum of Art in studio with us doing an activity. And today we have Juanita from the Bakersfield Museum of Art. How are you today, Juanita?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm excellent. What is your role with the museum?
So with the museum, I go to the Bakersfield School District and I work with fifth graders and I give them 1 hour of art and showing them different styles of art.
Oh, excellent. So you're actually going to the schools and the kids are able to get art lessons from a professional.
Yes.
And you do that through the museum. All right,
Yes.
What will you be doing with Brendan today?
So today we are going to work with symmetry. We're going to make a snowflake and we're going to use symmetry making that. And we're also going to use plaster gauze. Starting off, I do have foil cut out. It doesn't matter the size of the rectangle. You can just cut it out. It is 12-inch size of foil. And then after that, I'm going to have you roll it up. So I'm going to move this over. And you're just going to roll it up, making our long pieces. Oh, actually, we're going to roll it up this way, okay? Sorry about that. This way, okay? Awesome. And it doesn't matter how thick. I do just simply soft, and then you should just get a nice good stick. And then after you roll it up, I want you to cut it in half. Okay, in half. Estimate, yeah. Okay, and then you should have about 7 pieces of rectangles, and then cutting them in half, so making them 4 pieces into half. And then after you cut it in half, I want you to cut it in half one more time, just so then we can have our little flakes coming out, giving it some details on our snowflake. That's always nice, is details. Okay, and then after we do that, we're going to have on our last piece, I want you to crumble it up and make it a circle. Crumble it up, like smash it. Yeah, it's the fun part. Okay, and then you're just gonna smash it, making it flat. Awesome. Okay, And then that's going to be our center of our snowflake. I have already put it in order, and then you're going to tape it. Okay, so I recommend keeping it on the table, so then you could just keep it in the order you want of your snowflake. So if you want, you could just tape it from the center out to your sticks. Okay, go ahead. Nice. And then I'm just gonna keep giving you tape. And then once you got all of your sides of your snowflake, then you're gonna work your way out to these, okay? So the little ones that you cut into 1/4, you're going to tape that together. So go ahead and tape those.
Like that?
Mm-hmm, that's totally fine. And then we could perfect it at the end, that's totally fine. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Awesome. Okay, and then I have a good example right here. So after you get your piece, it should look like this, all taped together from the center onto the sides, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to get your plaster gauze, and then you're gonna dip it in water. Easy peasy, as I say, lemon squeezy. Okay, and then you're just gonna get a drop of water and just smooth it out. Smooth, 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 until all those little tiny squares are just gone, okay? The smoother, the better. Okay, so go ahead and give that a try. Awesome. And then wherever you'd like. Yeah. Smooth, smooth, smooth. So this project is very messy, but I mean, a lot of kids really love messy projects. But it does take a day to dry. So you want to give it a day. That's why I have this paper. I recommend a paper underneath. And then give it a day to dry, and then tomorrow you can paint it and maybe put it on your tree. I do recommend you wanting to maybe dip your finger into paint and then put in your family's fingerprints onto your snowflake, which would be super cool and a good part of participating with your family and just a family decoration. Nice. Yeah, it might move, but that's totally okay. Yeah, you just put it back on. It'll only stay still until it dries. So you could always fix it. Awesome. And then whenever you do layer it on, I do recommend at least 2 layers because the thicker the better, and then the stronger it will be. So I did 1 layer, and it's kind of wobbly over here. There might be some cracks as you do dry it. So I did front and back. As you do dry it, you'll notice some cracks, and I just go over those layers. Do you know what color you're going to decorate it? No? What color is your tree? Do you have a theme?
No, it's just green.
Green? Okay. Do you usually do a theme?
No.
So I know like my nephew, he's doing marbled tree. So you could keep decorating this, and then you'll be able to take this home, okay?
Okay.
So I can help you. Awesome. Go ahead. Nice. Do you have any family traditions for Christmas or New Year's?
Not really. It's just Christmas.
Christmas. Anything specific you're asking for Christmas?
A 3D printer.
Ooh, nice. That's super cool. Have you worked with symmetry? Working with symmetry?
Tiny bit.
Kind of. So you know fractions, and that's what we did with our foil, cutting in half, yes? In half and 1/4. Nice. Super, super cool. Do you enjoy doing this project? Yeah. Have you ever done this before?
No.
No? Awesome. That's one of the things that I like, is showing kids that there's so many different styles of art. It's not just painting. A lot of people think art is just paint, 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 and which is super cool. When they see paint, they're like, we're painting. But it's not just paint. There's so many different styles. Nice. After you do that side, we're gonna flip it over. We could even start now. Make sure you pinch, pinch, pinch. Okay, we could even start flipping it, and when you flip it, I want you to flip it really gently, okay? Really gently.
So Juanita, as you're working on that, you guys still have plenty of time to go. A lot of students will have aluminum foil pretty readily at the house, but what about the gauze? Where would somebody go to get the gauze that they would need?
So the gauze, you can actually find it, I mean, just about anything on Amazon. You could have that at Amazon or any art local stores, but I do recommend Amazon. You can't go wrong with that. But we do have art projects at our museum that we have in our winter workshops. We include different styles. Every day is a different style, but this is one of the styles that we show the kids in our after-school program, which I thought was super cool because they loved it. But yeah.
I'm glad you specified art gauze because it's different than a medical grade gauze that somebody would put on themselves, right? So, yeah, so keep working. I just wanted to throw that out there and find out where kids can get the gauze.
Yeah, the way I showed the gauze to the students, I showed them that this is the material that they make. It's as hard as the cast. So they're like, why is it so messy? It's gonna flop everywhere. They try to make a candy cane. And I was like, no, just give it a day and it'll go as hard as a cast to protecting your bones. Nice. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Awesome.
And the great thing about this project, Juanita, is you're doing it with students because, much like in nature, there are no two snowflakes that are identical. Right? So the students, as they're working on theirs, every one of them is going to be a little different from another one.
Yeah. I always tell my students, it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes your mistakes can turn into something beautiful. I know that you may see it as a mistake, but you got to see the farther picture. And just work with it. So I'm going to cut you a couple more rectangles. Whenever you cut these out, they don't have to be a certain size. It doesn't matter. With your sticks, if you want, you could do a skinnier one. That's totally fine. But like I said, size just doesn't matter.
I do have a question on this. You said candy canes.
Yes.
Do you also have them make candy canes out of this?
So for my project, I had them create their own ornaments, and they could choose either a snowball, snow globe, whether I just, depending the age, I had them just smash the foil and then just creating that globe, so then they could be able to just paint it or put their handprints on it.
So you're using the same material,
Yes.
just the tape and the foil and the gauze.
Yeah, if they want to challenge themselves with the snow candy cane, that's totally fine. I said go for it.
So much fun. So much you can do with just these three materials.
Yes.
So besides Christmas, what other things can you do in addition to outside of Christmas? Can you do other things with it?
Yes. So
for other holidays?
Just whatever you use as your base. So you could use foil or paper. I do recommend foil because it does keep a strong base. But you can form whatever you'd like, as however you want to challenge yourself, just putting that texture into that foil and pushing it the way you want it to go.
I'm thinking Valentine's hearts.
Yes,
like
that's
that.
a good idea.
And easy enough with the foil, you can make just about anything, right?
Yes.
So Juanita, if somebody wanted to learn a little bit more about what goes on at the museum, the exhibits, the classes, the activities, where would they need to go to?
So you would go to bmoa.org, our website, and you'll find everything there.
All right. Juanita, thank you very much for taking some time coming in and helping us out with Do the Math. We'll let Brennan keep working on that, and we'll be back with more right after this.
So I'm a registered nurse. I have a bachelor's degree of nursing in science. and I worked acute care and home health care before I started doing this. This is my 26th year teaching this program. Cover the requirements under the California Department of Public Health for Title 22 regulations for nursing assistant certification. So you go all the way from just introductory, like basic, what it takes to be a nursing assistant, all the way through all the skills required to take care of somebody. So bathing, like all the hygiene skills, vital signs, infection control. We do like ambulating, walking, dressing somebody. So there's just a wide variety of things that we do.
We're basically being trained to get our certification to be a nursing assistant. So we learn how to care for mostly geriatric patients. We do like, personal care, which is like changing diapers and feeding and bathing. We also do more of like the daily activities like walking and things like that. We also transfer them. We do exercises with them, that way they can still move and be flexible.
How we were able to meet different people from the different schools, and a lot of us have all these, obviously we have things in common if we're wanting to be in this field, so I think it's just nice meeting other people around my age taking kind of like the future more seriously.
There's not a whole lot of math for nursing assistants. Nursing does require a lot of math. Pretty much the only math that we do are we calculate ounces to cc's and cc's to ounces. We also measure like output, like urine output, or we measure intake, like how much fluid somebody drinks. So it's mostly metrics and it's very basic.
We also have to measure intake and output, so we have to measure how much water or fluid someone's drinking as opposed to how much they're putting out. And we have to be able to calculate the meal percentage. That way we know how much they're eating and we can document that. That way if there's a change in their condition, we'll be able to note it and we can report it to the correct people.
And big thanks to the staff, students, and the principal over at ROC and CTEC. Been partners of Do the Math for many, many years, and they self-produce all of those videos that we have been watching this year. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. If you phone in today and we do one of your math problems, you win yourself a pass to holidaylights.com. We'll go to the phones right now for a 4th grade student, McKenna. How are you this afternoon?
Good.
And you're at Maple School, correct?
Yes.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
4 cakes are cut into thirds. How many pieces of cake will there be?
So, McKenna, you said 4 cakes, correct?
Yes.
So we have 4 cakes, and you said cut into thirds, correct?
Yes.
So, McKenna,
Yes.
can I ask you, how would you tackle this problem? How would you start this problem?
Draw 4 circles and cut them into four.
Thirds? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to make 4 circles. And by the way, I love cakes.
I'll take the one at the end since you're getting bigger as you go. So.
Yeah.
And then McKenna, you said you want to break these into thirds, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do my best with cutting them into thirds. And I don't know if they're quite equal, and they should be equal, huh?
Now, you know, most people cut thirds like that. Have you ever
this?
thought about just using horizontal or vertical lines only?
Well, with circles, if we did horizontal or vertical lines, would they be equal though?
Well, that's why I'm asking you, because a lot of times, well, are those equal the way you've got them right there?
Not really. I like doing squares.
I'm only messing around with you.
Okay, McKenna. So how many thirds do I have with the first one?
3.
3, okay. And then we have another 3, correct? And another
Yes.
3 and another 3. Can you skip count by 3 to help me out here? If we start here, we have 3.
6.
What comes after that? Next.
9.
9 and
12.
12. So if we have 4 cakes and we're cutting them into thirds, we have a total of 12, correct?
Yes.
So this is one way to see it with pictures, right? Can I show you another way? Can we look at another way? Can we look at possibly using a number line as well? So if I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to go ahead and break each into a third. So there's 1. So if this would be 1/3, 2/3, and then this would be 3/3, correct? Which is 1 whole. And then if we break these, and here's my 2, and then I'm going to break those, there's my 3, and break this, and there's my 4. So if this is 1/3, 2/3, this would be 1 and 1/3, and that's 2 and 2/3, 2/3, and so on, correct?
Yes.
But could I still get to 12? Because you said the answer is 12, which is correct. But can I still get to 12 looking at it on a number line as well?
Yes.
So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and change my color real quick. Let's do that. So if we start here, here's 1, correct? So there's our 0. So there's 1. Count with me. There's 1, 2, 2,
2.
3. Keep going. I'm going to go to your count. We're at 3.
3. 4.
5, right? Keep going.
6.
And then we have 7.
8. 9. 10. 11.
And
12.
12. Did we get 12 that way as well?
Yes.
Yes, so there's different ways that we can look at this, not only by the pictures because that's more visual, but we also could use a number line to help us get there. Well done, McKenna. So we know 4 cakes cut into a thirds equals 12.
12.
There you go. Nicely done.
Great problem. Thanks for calling in today, McKenna. For your effort, you've got a holiday lights at Com pass. So hopefully you and your family will be able to go enjoy those millions and millions of lights out at Holiday Lights. All right, we're going to leave that problem up there right now because you are working with adding and subtracting fractions. You're going to multiply that right now because there's an even quicker way to do that instead of drawing things out. So head over to the board and you and Mary Lou are going to do that quick before I give you another problem.
All right, let's go ahead. So if we have 4 groups of 1/3, right? That's what this is really saying, is 4 groups of 1/3. And when I say the word groups, what operation do I mean? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? What do you think? Groups of. It's actually multiply. So when you hear groups of, we're actually multiplying. So we're really saying 4 groups of 1/3. Have you done any multiplying with fractions?
No, not yet.
Okay. So if I have 4 groups of 1/3, okay, it's similar to what you did with adding your fractions. The difference is when we're multiplying with fractions, we don't have to really worry about having that same denominator. how do I write 4 as a fraction? Do you know? 4
over 1.
You got it. 4 over 1. Okay, do me a favor and multiply your numerators for me.
Would that be 4?
Okay.
And then
Okay. So we have 4 and 3/4. Now let's try this. Let's go ahead and do 4 divided by 1/3. Let's do that way, okay? Let's do 4 divided by 1/3. So if we have 4 divided by 1/3, because we didn't get an answer of 12 here, did we? But here, we're breaking this up, we're dividing this, right? Did I divide each one of these into 1/3 on the number line? And the picture, did we divide each one into 1/3?
yeah.
Yeah, we had 4 groups and we divided them each into 1/3, right? So here, what we're going to do is, we're going to still write 4 over 1 for me, right? 4 over 1.
This is some excellent bonus content that he's getting today
Yes,
because
he
hasn't
is.
multiplied or divided fractions.
So
this
what
is
we're
the first
really
one.
doing is dividing fractions is the same as multiplying fractions. So here you knew that we have to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators, right? But here, what we're really doing is we're keeping our first number, right? Which is the dividend. We're going to change this division sign to a multiplication. And because we did that, we have to do what's called the reciprocal here. So I'm going to flip this. What's the opposite of 1 over 3? If I flipped it,
3 over 1.
write 3 over 1 for me. Now multiply those numerators. What do we get? And 12 over 1 is equivalent to what?
12 wholes.
12. Did we get our answer? We got our answer, right?
Yeah.
So again, by looking at this, there's multiple ways. We could look at it as pictures, okay? And this is, you know, this is more visual, right? Of, hey, we could see this as a picture of breaking it up. But what are these pictures really saying? It's saying that we're taking this 4 and we're breaking it into groups of 1/3. And how many groups of 1/3 did we break that into?
12.
We broke it into 12. And there you go. Okay, just another way to get that.
Okay, so I was going to give him a different type of problem, but since you guys are just dipping your toes into this, let's stay with this.
Okay.
Erase the board.
All right, hit that X for us.
So I have 6 candy bars.
Okay, write 6.
So you can just put 6 bars, 6 candy, whatever you want to put. All right. And they're gonna be cut into fourths.
Okay.
So
1/4.
divided by 1.
Okay, so think about this. We have a total of 6. We're breaking them into 1/4. So what do you think our operation is going to be?
Dividing?
Divide. So think about what we just did. What's the first thing we're going to do with our 6? We need to
Make
write.
6 over 1.
Yes, you got it. So you could go just underneath it. 6 over 1. What did I do with my division? What did I change that to?
You changed it to multiplication.
Okay. And then what did I do to the 1/4? What did I do to that?
You switched it around. So it'd be 4, 1.
Okay. And how do we solve?
6 times 4.
So if I have 6 candy bars and I break them all into 1/4, how many pieces do I have?
24.
How many students do you have in your class?
30.
Oh, would that feed all the students in your
No.
class? No, it wouldn't. We would need more candy bars.
So how many students are in class?
30.
Okay,
30?
here we go. Write that. Let's
Okay.
find out how many.
Right. You're going to have still 6 candy bars.
Okay, 6.
What are you going to have to break them into to satisfy a piece for all 30 students now? So you can't break them into quarters.
What would our denominator be in order to get 30 as an answer?
6.
Okay, let's try that. Here, let's go 6 divided by 1/6. Okay.
Okay, and then we go change it to 6 multiplication. Flip that around. Right?
Okay, and what does that equal? Do we have too many now?
Yes.
Here we didn't have enough. Here we have too many. So what do you think we can try now?
5.
Okay, try it.
I like the 6 because with the leftover 6, you can give them to the instructor and then
Yeah.
everything's good.
So let me change that to
And did you get enough?
yep,
So what do we have to break all those 6 candy bars into?
1/5.
To 1/5. That's going to have to be, there's going to kind of small pieces, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know how big the candy bar is. It's going
I,
to be
well,
2-pound-sized bars.
if it was me, I would eat all 6 by myself. So,
So look, I even made myself a tip on the program today. We've got a quarter up here, breaking the 6 into quarters, right? And not bad to have a little quarter.
Yeah.
Break them into quarters, right?
There we
Quarters. Break them into quarters. Quarters. Just like when we had Mike on last week talking about those bars. I can't even say it. It's nasty, nasty coming out of my mouth having to say race lots like that. That's right. Buzz them all the time. All right. Clear the board. I have one final
Okay.
problem for you.
okay, ready? Get your pen. Go ahead and write it.
All right, 4/5 times 2/5. So you're going to get these when you first start multiplying fractions. I will give you guys 30 seconds.
Okay, go for it. What are we doing first?
Well, I'll give you a minute.
4
Go for
times
it.
2.
Okay. And what is next?
We would multiply these, I think,
Right.
right?
There you go. So what's the difference again between adding and subtracting and multiplying?
You would not add them, you would keep them the same.
Right. And with multiplying, we do want to add, we want to multiply those,
Yeah.
right? So that would be the difference. We can't simplify that, can we? Or is it already done?
No, I don't think
It's
so.
already done.
All right, try this one. 3/4 times 2/6.
You would multiply that. And then we would do 4 times 6.
And can we find an equivalent fraction and break that down?
4.
Okay.
3.
Okay, 3, yes. Is there a bigger number than 3 and 4 that goes into both of those?
6.
Okay, divide them both by 6. Let's see what happens.
There you go, nicely
nice.
done. So Brennan, come on over here. You've done some great work today. So I've got a couple of questions to ask you. Did you learn a little something today?
Uh-huh.
Good. So you got your little feet wet with multiplying and dividing fractions. Did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Good. That's the important part right there. Hey, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.